We are live from Studio B with a few flippy-do slides there at the beginning. I'd shown Sienna our slides that she's going to come on and talk to in a few minutes. Our guest today, Sienna Nichols, down in Newport Beach, and I hadn't re-queued the slides to the top of the show.
Uh-oh.
Now we've got them. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us here on show number 800, Julia.
50.
850. My co-host is here as usual, the Commodore of the Beach Street Yacht Club, my landlady, and I have paid the rent this month, I hope.
Promise.
I hope. I'm your host, Tom Eamon. And I said, standing patiently by in Newport Beach is Sienna Nichols. She's there, the smile on her face, a superb young super sailor who will be racing in the Governor's Cup a week from Tuesday at the esteemed Balboa Yacht Club.
Yes.
Indeed. Julie, let's get right into it because we got a great show. A big shoe today, a really big shoe, big show. And here's the starting lineup. Happy Friday, everybody, and happy return of the Royal Ocean Racing Club's Admirals Cup. And we're going to, it's the eve. Tomorrow's the first race, the Channel race, and we'll talk about that in some length here in the opening segment, in fact. We'll have our feature with Sienna, the road to the 58th Governor's Cup, our first of three different days that we're going to have various skippers with us.
Lovely.
Featuring ladies first, Sienna Nichols of the Balboa Yacht Club. And as we said, she is with us live. We'll have the coaching corner with Jon Emmett. He's at the farm headed to Portsmouth. In fact, he's now in Portsmouth for Sail GP this weekend. Is going to send us some reports for Tuesday's show. Long Beach, the Olympic Classes Regatta, they're in the phase 2 now, runs through Sunday. And we have a Fozy. In fact, a competitor of Sienna's. Do you know, Sienna, that one of your competitors is going to be, has just won a gold medal at the Long Beach Olympic Classes Regatta? Say again?
That was really cool to watch.
Did you know who it is?
Justin?
Correct. And he'll be skippering as well. And I think we have Justin and Morgan, Justin Callahan, and Morgan.
No,
Morgan Pinkney.
just a little competition.
Yeah, and but I've got, I think, all three of them coming on from Gdynia, Poland,
Really?
next Friday.
Oh, great.
On road to the Governor's Cup. So,
Great.
Sienna, you can beat all of them. We'll be cheering for you to do that. But that's back to the starting line. That second phase at the Long Beach OCR is underway. It ends on Sunday. The other 5 classes that didn't race in the first phase. Preview of this weekend's action in Portsmouth. Will it be Australia? Will it be Julia's favorite team, Spain, Great Britain, or New Zealand? Those are the teams tabbed to tipped to likely win. It's going to be light tomorrow there in Portsmouth. We have an AAAA from Alistair, who's now at Lake Garda. The poor guy is going all over Europe, and poor guy, now he's racing in the Tazar Worlds with his daughter. He texted you and said he's too tired to come on the show.
Right.
Oh, what time is it? 2200 there. But he did an interview with Malcolm Page, a terrific interview. We've got that live to tape, and we'll run that during the AAAA. And then finally, we'll update you on the continuing crickets. The behind the scenes, however, it's a different story in AC38. The latest one hears. Last leg, a superb video featuring the Australian Admirals Cup team. I really like that video, and we'll run that. And then, of course, our usual others, this day in history, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, Julia, which you always love. Our Super Fozy, the comments, speaking of whom, there are lots of them on already. They're all tuning in probably to hear Sienna, not me.
Right.
Ed Worley saying hi. Phil Yeomans, good morning. Hello, Phil. Blake Middleton got on first, I think, again today. Alan Long, looks like the tide has come in at Lake Travis in Lago Vista, Texas. That's down Austin, Texas.
Oh, yeah, they have their share of water.
Yeah, they did. Oh, gosh. Larry Kennedy saying hi from the FIDI, the financial district in New York City. And Greg Phillips on the Gold Coast of Oz as usual. Hi, Greg. Rick Banner and the saying good afternoon. He's in Connecticut. Fritz Mueller. Hi from a steamy Miami. Chris Fury, hello from Mornington, down the bay from Melbourne. Just a few days here in hospital after receiving a new knee.
Oh, congratulations.
Wow, good to hear. I hope you're doing well, Chris. Ted Ryman in Cape Town in the Republic of South Africa. Gordon Smith in Denmark. Good evening to all. Welcome to Sail Sport. Yes. Hello, everyone from sunny, pleasant Salem, Mass. That's Chris Exley, Don Lunabos from across the bridge in Sonoma. Josh Tozo, howdy, from the Long Beach Olympic Classes Regatta. Josh is there. Lots of others have tuned in as well. For this show number 850, we're going to preview the Sail GP this weekend in Portsmouth in the UK. And, of course, there on the left is our little picture insert, PIP, of Sienna Nichols, who, as I said, is standing patiently by in Newport Beach. We'll get to her in a minute. She's all of 16 years old, and this is at least the second time she's been on this show, Julia.
I know. But it's not the second time she's won a championship.
Well, for sure not. I've got a whole long list. I put on camera one here. I've got a long list of her accomplishments. So long I had to print it out because, my feeble old brain, I can't memorize things as well, Julia, as I used to. So we got Sienna standing by. But let's first, Julia, what are we celebrating today?
Must be the return of the Admirals Cup.
It is indeed the return of the Admirals Cup. We've been talking about it, and it's been Fosey. I said it's been Fosey promoted in effect because our super Fosey, Mr. Dr. Andrew McIrvin,
Right.
chaired the steering committee that helped put this back on the map for the RORC's 100th year, right?
Yes.
Fantastic stuff. A little bit about it, courtesy of Yachting World. The Admirals Cup returns for the first time in 22 years with a bumper fleet of 50. They were hoping just to have 10 teams, 15
That's
international teams racing in the Solent from tomorrow through the 26th of July before the event concludes with the 2025 Rolex Fastnet race, which starts next Saturday. The 23rd Admirals Cup will take place in Cowes, Isle of Wight, with racing organized by the RORC, the esteemed RORC, which has successfully revived the event in its centenary year.
Yes.
Competition begins with a short offshore race on the 19th of July. That's tomorrow, the Channel race over at France and back, around 110 to 150 miles, counting for double points and non-discardable.
Aha.
This race will, it's a proper kickoff. This race will put the pressure on the Cup teams from the get-go, as we might say here in the States. To complicate matters for the strategy team on board, there will also be a further 40 boats racing in the RORC offshore that aren't connected to the Admirals Cup fleet. The forecast currently shows a light to moderate 8 to 14 knots at the start tomorrow. The Channel race, building to a cracking 15 to 25 knot southwesterly. Race designs flying offshore and get back to the Solent before the heavy weather tomorrow afternoon. It's going to blow dogs off proverbial chains.
Can we see it?
No, there's no live coverage, not that I'm aware. And of course, it's out in the open ocean,
Right.
out in the English Channel.
Right.
After a lay day, there will be 3 days of inshore racing before the grand finale, the Rolex Fastnet race, starting next Saturday, July 26th. The format for the revitalized event is a 2-boat team competition under IRC, with the larger boat from 45 to 56 feet and the smaller yacht rating in the 36 to 44-foot rating band. Entries may represent yacht clubs and or countries, with 3 teams, fully 3 teams from Germany and 2 from the UK, as well as entries from Australia, the Netherlands, the USA's, specifically New York. In fact, there's a lot of New York Yacht Club entries in this for various other teams, various other countries. New Zealand, of course, Hong Kong, Ireland, Monaco, Italy, France, and Sweden. Bravo, Zulu, and Mr. Doctor, and all the rest of you involved with putting this back on the front burner. Many teams have been training hard in the Solent for weeks. The Royal Thames Yacht Club's 250th anniversary regatta with the IRC Nationals offered an early form indicator with 21 of the 30 boats, the Admirals Cup boats, competing. The Hong Kong big boat, Carl Kwok's TP52, Beau Jest, with our longtime friend Gavin Brady and Fosey. In fact, he's been on the show several times. They took IRC 0, and Monaco's Carkeek 40, the Jolt 6, won IRC 1, and several of you on Tuesday's show actually picked Monaco as a leading team in this 2025 Admirals Cup. One other note, that from Helen Fretier
Fretter.
Helen Fretter, writing in Yachting World yesterday. And Yachting World was established, by the way, in 1894. It's been around. Speaking of some history, we're talking about women in the Admirals Cup, talking about women in the sport in the RORC's 100th year. Here, it's not quite sure. No one's quite sure who was the first woman to race in the Admirals Cup. But going back a long time, we do know that in a nice article that they posted on the RORC website in the last couple of days, Changing Tides, Women Sailors Reflect on the Admirals Cup Inclusion Rule. Because Julia and Sienna, they're requiring a woman on each of the Admirals Cup boats and also a sailor under 27, and they can't be the same person.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
So it is good. I think that's the rule. So there's quite a good article on their website. I commend it to all of you. And this photo from 1954 includes, it's the crew of Bloodhound Cows La Coruna, Mary Pera, who is the third from the right there.
Mm-hmm.
Longtime old friend. She's the late, great Mary Pera, longtime old friend of mine. And she was a rules expert and was the first lady, Julia and Sienna, the first lady to manage an Admirals Cup team.
Great. Good for her.
And as a rules expert, she was one of my heroes. She was one of my good friends back when I was
probably teaching you.
Well, she taught me more than she taught us all a lot of things about the rules. She was one of the great rules experts.
Yeah.
And this is like you, Julia, when you were chairing the bloody House Committee over at St. Francis.
Yeah.
You were there because you were competent. It's like Claire Harrington. She's there as Vice Commodore of New York, not because she's female, because she's competent. Same with Mary Pera. This is way before it was socially proper even to have women involved in the sport, let alone as the rules advisor.
Oh, my goodness.
Or the manager for a team.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
These women, Sienna, broke the fiberglass ceiling for you and a lot of other people. But it's a great article. I commend it to you. Mary was a dear friend, and she blessed umpiring. I told you once before on this show when gave the paper at the IYRU meeting on umpiring back in 88, I guess it was. And she said, well, Tom, come over to the RORC and take tea with me and explain this to me. And she picked my brain. It was like a PhD, dissertation, quiz.
Prove it to me.
And exactly, prove it to me. And I must have passed because the next day she went to the rules committee and said, I think this umpiring is a good idea. Let's go for it.
Ooh, good for you. And
Mary Pera. There she is in 1954. The Royal Ocean Racing Club has long acknowledged the slow but steady path toward gender inclusion in offshore sailing and beyond. For the forthcoming Admirals Cup, every boat must have at least one woman, as well as another sailor under 27. The goal is to expand access, broaden the talent pool, and create a more diverse and vibrant racing community. To that end, we should note that the RORC in the 2025 year has a Commodore who is very cool. I don't know her well, but I do know her, Deb Fish. Mm-hmm. And their admiral, it's an honorary position, who was a longtime racing manager for the RORC and always supplied a guitar for me. In fact, McIrvin, Andrew checked with, is it true that you had a guitar at the RORC for Eamon so you could have sing-alongs during the IYRU ORC week? And she said, yes, it was true.
It's not good.
But she is the real deal. They both are. Bravo Zulu to the Rourke. And just one last comment here. Despite these achievements, offshore sailing continues to be male-dominated. However, participation by women is growing. In a sign of changing tides, 2 of the RORC senior flag officer roles are now held by women, Admiral Janet Grosvenor on the right and Commodore Deb Fish, highlighting a shift toward a more inclusive and representative club culture. Now, but wait, Julia, there's more. Okay. Because if we look at this photo, you see this photo from this morning?
Yeah.
That is the press conference. The Admirals Cup press conference there. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure, probably at the RORC in a tent outside of the RORC's new fancy redone clubhouse. They're beautiful. You see right in the middle?
Yep.
That is Abby Ehler, who will be representing the New York Yacht Club's New York Yacht Club Admirals Cup team, NYYC, racing on the Botine 56 Black Pearl. She's a seasoned professional sailor with extensive experience, including multiple round-the-world races and major global sailing events. New York Yacht Club sent her as their Admirals Cup rep
Wow.
to the press conference today. And I thought that was a cool move because she is very, very cool. And when I chat GPT'd this, it came back and said, by the way, also, this is not me. This is from Chat Google AI. Also, Claire Harrington made history as the first woman to become vice commodore of the New York Yacht Club, soon to be commodore if she continues to play her cards right.
Good.
She'll be commodore in December. And however, the press conference you were referring to, or I was asking about, specifically features Abby Ehler representing the NYYC Admirals Cup team. So bravo, Zulu. And thanks to our Fozy, speaking of Mr. Doctor, our Fozy Andrew McIrvin, for sending those photos from the press conference this morning. We have eyes and ears all over the world.
Yes.
Sienna, you better be on your best behavior because I'll get a report from your mother or from Andy Rose or from, Becky, Lenhart, any number of other people down there at Balboa Yacht Club are always filling us in, and others from around the world. We'll get back to her in a moment. Just a couple more things on the Admirals Cup. This is the Stefan Jens. He's German. This is he's sailing for the New York Yacht Club with his Boateen 56 Black Pearl, and Amy Ehler's on that boat. And this is the preview video of the Fastnet.
The challenge of a lifetime, a tradition, and an obsession. Since its inception a century ago, the Rolex Fastnet race has proven time and again a defining test for offshore sailors.
The challenge is absolutely the same, but one thing that hasn't changed is the Fastnet Rock. It's special, and I couldn't tell you why.
Sailing's largest offshore race is organised by the Royal Ocean Racing Club and has been supported by Rolex for a quarter of a century. Celebrating 100 years, the race has enticed a record entry to the start line in Cowes on the Isle of Wight. Over 450 yachts, crewed by passionate offshore sailors, professional and Corinthian from 40 nations, will take on this preeminent challenge, in a fleet breathtaking in both its scope and diversity. The race is a 695 nautical mile odyssey across the waters of 3 countries, from the south coast of England, twice traversing the Celtic Sea, to the finish in Cherbourg en Cotentin, France. The route is a complex navigational challenge, taking in the confined waters of the Solent and the Atlantic Ocean swells, before the rounding of Ireland's Fastnet Rock, the race's emblematic halfway point. And finally to the extreme tides off the Normandy coast, just before the finish in Cherbourg en Cotentin.
It never stops really all the way to the finish. You can never rest, so there's always something to plan, something to be cautious of. Yeah, it's a full package.
It's a grueling challenge that attracts some of the fastest and most technologically advanced racing craft on the oceans. Within the main body of the fleet, everyone can harbour ambitions to lift the Fastnet Challenge Cup, awarded to the overall race winner, a highly coveted trophy and a crowning achievement for any sailor.
People come back because there's a siren call to go to the Fastnet Rock.
The centenary edition of the Rolex Fastnet race commences on Saturday, July 26th.
So that's our Admirals Cup preview. Starts tomorrow, the 19th. Was that not a fabulous video, Julia?
It took the words out of my mouth.
Fabulous, eh?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Nice stuff. Sienna, do you ever want to sail in the Admirals Cup?
That looks really cool. I think someday I want to do some offshore racing, like a big one like Transpac, but that looks amazing.
Have you never gotten on It's Okay for any of the racing that the gang does on our Andrews 50?
No, but it's just most of the time I'm busy with other things, so I get it.
Well, you better talk to Andy and to Greg Newman and to Tom Purcell. Get yourself on that boat. But great stuff, and we're looking forward to a terrific Admirals Cup and reportage, Julia.
Yes.
From Mr. Doctor. He's promised to record. He's very busy with the Princess Royal, and he's got events and social stuff, and it's he's a deal. He's a big deal. Julia, what else are we celebrating today?
850.
show 850, but our Sailing Illustrated Fozy,
Absolutely.
especially those who are patrons via patreon.com/join/Sailing Illustrated. We are deeply appreciative for all of your support, without which we would not have a studio, we would not have cameras, we wouldn't have anything.
Nearly as much fun.
And we wouldn't have nearly as much fun. So thanks all for your support. We deeply appreciate it. Show number 850, it is. For Friday the 18th of July, let's get on to our segment, our featured segment with Sienna Nichols. And did I say Amy Ehler? I meant Abby Ehler. She's the one sailing for the New York Yacht Club on Black Pearl. And Bravo's
The Black Pearl.
The Black Pearl. Well, Black Pearl was a pirate ship, but you know what else it was?
Yes.
What?
It was Coyotes.
Cairds. Well, when he was in Pirates of the Caribbean,
Yeah.
sponsored his Round the World team.
Right.
You followed that team, didn't you?
I did.
Around the World, you and your late husband. But you know what else the Black Pearl is? Anybody who's ever been to Newport, Rhode Island and has sailed, it's on Bannister's Wharf and along right next door to the Clark Cookhouse. The Black Pearl is a famously good restaurant.
Oh, good.
And if you go there, have the Pearl Chowder. It's the best clam chowder in the world, or it used to be. I haven't been there in a while. Let's get on to the other things here. Our second segment, we're going to get right into it so that Sienna can get off and go yacht racing or practicing or whatever she has to do on her Friday. Julia, Sienna, as you know, that's the famously cool Balboa Yacht Club with the sun rising. It's kind of weird with the ocean out there to the right. You can see the ocean out here. That's actually to the south because the coast, as you know, Julia, from being a SoCal girl, runs east-west down there, and it's kind of disconcerting. And that is the ocean to the south when you go out from the yacht club out into the Pacific from Newport Harbor. And this is the venue once again for the Governor's Cup, the 2025 edition, the 58th edition of the International Youth Match Racing Championship, the granddaddy, grandmammy of them all, the most prestigious event. And here is the bumper that I put together last night, I redid from last year's bumper for our GovCup TV shows starting a week from Tuesday. And, you know, I think because of the Governor's Cup, we have a lot of very cool people on here today, even more than the usual. But I see Dawn Riley has checked in. Dawn she said she's just got a minute. She's popping in from Oak Cliff as Chris Kennedy is out on the water coaching WMRT Academy teams, and Peter Wickwire and Dave Perry talk about the godfather of match racing.
Right.
Sienna, you must know Dave Perry pretty well, don't you? Have you gone that he didn't coach at this year's Rose Cup, but he must have coached at last year's Rose Cup, didn't he?
Yeah, he coached at last year's Rose Cup. And he also, I went to, I think, 2 or 3 of his soda clinics in LBYC.
At Long Beach Yacht Club. Yeah, he is a Pied Piper of considerable repute and a longtime friend. He and I have known each other, Sienna, I hate to say this, for 50 years. And Ryman is, there's a lot of back and forth here between Ryman, Smith, Vahe. Hello, Yar. Mark Holland is saying, happy Fozy Friday from Boston. Thank you, Mark Holland. And welcome to everybody else who's joined us. Don Lunabo says, 850. Yeah, that is. GovCup is their 58th edition. It was started a couple years after the Congressional Cup, which is the granddaddy of all the senior match racing regattas or tournaments. And there's quite a turnout again this year. We've been doing these Road to the Governor's Cups segments for, I don't know, 4 or 5, how long, Julie? 6 years?
Yep.
Some number of years now. We try to get as many of the skippers on as we can in the time remaining. So we'll be doing this today with Sienna, next Tuesday, and next Friday, and a special one next Friday. It's going to be really cool.
They're wonderful.
They have been wonderful to get to know the kids, get to know the competitors from around the world.
Yes.
There's 12 teams from, I think, six countries this year. We'll tell you about that in a moment. Here is the 2024 winner, with whom I talked this morning as well. Cole Tapper, he texted me this morning, wants to do a Road to the GovCup Hopefully he's going to come on Tuesday, but they're all busy. They're doing their own racing, training, so on. He was the 2024 winner, he and his team, and he is back. He is not aged out.
Oh,
He's back along with Justin Callahan, Ethan Fong, Josh Hyde, Daniel Kemp, Michael Kirkman, Adam Letty, Victor Melchior from Denmark, Sienna with us today, Morgan Pinckney from across the harbor, Dylan C. from across the harbor, both Newport Harbor Yacht Club guys, and of course the defending champ Cole Tapper, as well as Theo Vesterland. Now, if Theo is half as much fun as his brother Marius sailed in the GovCup, and this is his younger brother now, and Andy says that if he can get Marius, anybody in the world, maybe Jeffrey Peterson could, but to take over for Andy as kind of the GovCup guru and hosting the Monday, what is this year, a Tuesday night, Meet the Teams roast, it could be Marius Vesterland. And if his younger brother, who's coming to race this year, is half as much fun and half as nice a personality, we're going to have a lot of fun with him. So that's the crowd. 12 teams from 6 nations, including our guest today, esteemed guest, representing Team BYC, Balboa Yacht Club's Sienna Nichols. We got to know her. I think, Julia, I don't know if you were over at the St. Francis. When was that, Sienna? Was that, 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
I think it was 2 years ago, and it was during the Cal Dreaming Series in St. Francis.
You are correct, because my lower third has it as March of 2024, and I interviewed you and ran the interview on this show, and I didn't dig it up because, we want to hear you live and in person now, but everybody's reaction to that interview of you at age, you were 14 then?
Yeah.
14, racing up here in the J22s and the Heavy Air and the Julia in the Current, and it's a rough patch of water here off your club,
especially the first time.
Our club, and there was Sienna at age 14 with her crew, the same crew that's going to be racing with her in GovCup.
Yeah,
she's going to tell us more about them in a moment. And everyone's reaction was, and to your everlasting credit, Sienna, their reaction was how mature, how bright, how relaxed she is at any age, let alone age 14.
Right.
Do you have anything to say to all that?
I think it's crazy that it's weird to me because I feel like I know I'm young, but I feel like when I'm at these regattas or I'm doing something like that, I don't feel like I'm that young. And it's always funny whenever people come to me like, wow, how old are you? And I'm like, oh, 16. And then they're like, oh, I did not think you were that. It's always weird to me.
It's lovely.
Well, Christiane Price, who you know, Harry Price, I'm sure from previous GovCups, and she's saying, my money is on the wonderful Cole Tapper. And of course, she's Australian, and so is Cole. Rick Banner is saying, ask Sienna if she knows what a Fosey is, especially as she now is one. And what's a Fosey, Sienna?
I don't know.
A friend, F-O, of Sailing Illustrated, Fosey. And anybody that's been on the show, anybody that has sent us segments on for the show, and anybody who watches regularly, and especially those who give us a few bucks a month, are all Fosey, super Fosey. And you are now one.
Congratulations.
Yay.
Tell us about your sailing career. What year is this, and what is that, an Opti?
Yeah, that was, I think, 2022, I think. It was my first Orange Bowl, and I did it in Optis. I normally don't sail Optis. That was my first and last time sailing an Opti. I'm normally a Sabot kid, but yeah, it was definitely fun.
And at the same regatta, you told me when I found this picture of you online, and you said, oh, I'm not sure you should use that. My mother took that one. Your mother, who's the fleet captain at Balboa Yacht Club, Melanie, we know her well. And why didn't you like this picture?
It was just taken at such a bad time. I was like in between smiling or like straight face and smiling, and then she took the photo, and then so I just look around like a half smile, like weird, and then my face is all red. It's just there are a lot of things going on.
Mona Lisa smile.
Mona Lisa. It is an enigmatic.
Yes.
This is a little bit better shot, but you quickly graduated to Ilkos, the lasers, and you've been competing in the laser class, I guess, since then when you're not match racing.
Yeah,
is that
I've
right?
been sailing the laser, I think, for years.
Since,
Yeah, I like doing lasers a lot. It's fun.
Is this a Florida event? Where was this?
Yeah, that was in Clearwater, Florida. It was my first Midwinters East.
And how about this one?
That one was at the Youth Champs in Bristol, Rhode Island, I think 2 years ago.
Wow. And you were again 14 then?
Yeah,
14 or 15. When is
Yeah.
your birthday, if I may ask?
August 6th, 2008.
So you will turn 17 in August. Is that is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us about some more of your team. Now, this is your Rose Cup team from 2024 last year. Where was that event held?
That was in Marblehead, Massachusetts.
In Marblehead. And this is your same team that's racing with you, did race with you at Rose Cup this year, of what, 4 weeks ago, and is racing with you again at GovCup?
Yeah.
Tell us about them, please.
Yeah, so I have my sister Maddie on main, and then I have Eddie Kleem, who's on bow, and then I have Kai Brennan, who's on jib.
You're on the right and your sister's on the left?
Yeah.
She's your twin sister, but she's rather bigger than you. You are not identical twins.
No, we're fraternal.
And you want to tell the story? I asked Julia, do you want to tell the story about how many minutes? I asked your mom, and she said I could tell it. She told me at Rose Cup that, I said, oh, they're fraternal twins. You know, how long were they born? You know, who's older was the first question. And how long were they born apart? And she said, oh. I said, were they born an hour or two apart? Because you're the older of the two, right?
Yeah.
By 3 minutes.
Yeah.
How does that happen, Julia? I asked you in the tech check.
I don't know.
How does somebody have 2 kids in 3 minutes? You have to invoke a certain Roman cesarean
Yeah.
by C-section.
Must be C-section.
And your mom gave, I won't go into the full explanation, but Sienna, your mom gave me the full explanation of how the two of you were born only 3 minutes apart by C-section. But what a team. And how do you keep everybody together? Do you guys never fight? How do you keep everybody together, racing event after event, year after year, and by all appearances get along extremely well?
I think it's just from a lot of time being with each other. I think this year, is our 3rd year, sailing with each other. And I've known Kai for, I think 4 or 5 years. And then I've known Eddie since I was like 7. Like we grew up sailing Sabbaths together. And then I know Maddie because she's my sister. I think we all just happen to get along together. We all are just good friends, I think, off the water. And I think that helps a lot with the on-the-water chemistry.
Well, it appears to be very good. As I say, I watched you race in the Rose Cup again just 4 weeks ago. Now I watched you race in the Rose Cup again. Super Fosey, Jonathan Frank, he's a 777 pilot for United based down in Houston and Galveston, a super sailor as well. He is saying, notice the GT racing model on her dresser. Why, Sienna, do you have a GT racing model up on top of your wardrobe there?
Oh yeah, that's my dad. He got it for his birthday, and then this is my dad's office. I just went in here because I was the least like clutter in the background.
Claim it for yours.
I know.
It was my dad's birthday present. I think he had fun building it. There's a Range Rover somewhere around here, and I built that one.
Now here's back to the photos. Here is another photo of you at the Rose Cup I guess it was 4 weeks ago. And you were second. You had a hard-fought match with Dylan C. from the Newport Harbor Yacht Club, both local teams. And there you are with yourself, obviously, with your sister, twin sister Maddie. Then Eddie Kleem down in front, and Kai Brennan, who does the front end of the boat, right? He's the big tall guy.
Yeah.
Kai Brennan. And is Eddie trimming for you?
Or no, Eddie's on the bow, and then Kai's doing the jib.
Oh, he is. So Eddie there, who's in the front, right? That's Eddie Kleem is in the foreground of that, the 4 of you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can see I have a telestrator here. I'm trying to get...
that one's Kai. Sorry. That one's Kai. Eddie's the one in the back looking
Okay,
back.
that's Kai. Okay, now I got it straight. That's Kai Brennan, and this is Eddie Kleem.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. See, that's why we have a telestrator, Julia.
It's very good.
Huh?
Works.
I can tell you're impressed, especially when I don't take the green square off when I change the shots.
Yeah.
Well, this was good stuff. We really enjoyed you getting into the finals against Dylan at the Rose Cup down at Balboa Yacht Club in what may be a bit of a, maybe you two will get into the semis again or the finals. Dylan is a, sophomore going into his sophomore year at Stanford?
Yeah.
And you're going into your junior year
in high school.
Junior year in high school. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anybody that looks at you in this photo or any other, particularly that laser, that Ilka photo a minute ago, you think you're 25.
Indeed.
And I've watched you race now extensively that weekend at Rose Cup and out here in front of Balboa or in front of St. Francis Yacht Club 2 years ago. And you are a sight to behold. You're mature beyond your years, and we're looking forward to great stuff in the Governor's Cup. Not to put any pressure on you.
Thanks.
Go ahead, Julia.
We were rejoicing at your clever moves at times.
Well, indeed. And you've got some stiff competition, as we mentioned at the top of this segment. Morgan Pinckney from the Newport Harbor Yacht Club, he will be, a junior at Yale this year? Or a senior?
I think so, yeah.
You think he's a senior?
I think he's going to be a junior.
I think a junior.
Yeah.
And Justin Callahan, who I think will be a senior at Harvard this year.
I think so.
I think so. And that'll all be taking place starting a week from Tuesday at the beloved, beautiful, I'm a member of this club. I didn't realize since 2011, Julia.
Wow.
They've let me be a member down there. That's very kind of them. And we will be covering it on GovCup TV, the 58th Governor's Cup, and we'll be doing it from Tuesday. Everything's delayed a day this year because World Sailing crutonically put the World Youth Match Racing Championship in Gdynia, Poland, conflicting with this event. It will end on Sunday, but the kids need to have a day of rest and to fly back, some of them, because 3 of them are participating. Morgan, Josh from New Zealand. Help me out, Sienna.
Josh Hyde.
Josh Hyde, thank you, from the Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron. He is sailing in Poland, as well as Justin and the 3. I hope I'm going to have the 3 of them on this show next Friday. We may have to pre-record it so that it's not too late at night for them because they are racing in the World Youth Match Racing Championship. But frankly, in many ways, the Governor's Cup, which is done by invitation, Andy Rose and the Christine Gribben and the gang there at Balboa hand select the competitors, and arguably the competition at GovCup year in and year out is tougher. What would you say to that, Sienna?
Yeah, I mean, the competition's always hard, but I think that's what makes it fun. It's like every single race it's not easy, and it shouldn't be easy. But I think that makes it the most fun, and especially being able to watch everyone top level at the finals and the semifinals, even the quarterfinals. It's just amazing to see all the tight competition throughout the fleet.
Do you like the lighter stuff? You actually did better when the breeze came up, you and your team.
Yeah, I like both. I mean, I'm not really very picky. I think the light stuff can be fun, but I like spins when it's windy. I think that makes it surfing and everything. That's probably really fun.
Mm. Well, we had some breeze during Rose Cup, and typically it's kind of lightish. It's kind of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But we did have some 12, 13 during Rose Cup, and I guess it's been a reasonably breezy year down there. Is that true?
Yeah, I feel like it's been pretty good wind the past few weeks. We've had practice up here and lasers and match racing and everything. I feel like it's been pretty good compared to last year. So I think it might be good again for GovCup, which should be fun.
Okay, well, we'll be covering it live, including the racing live on Saturday and Sunday at 11:30 Pacific. That's 18:30 UTC. And, of course, we're doing a morning show Thursday through Sunday at 0900. And we do from the tent, GovCup tent, featuring the boat draw and featuring the principal race officer and so on. You see there on the schedule. And then we do the press conference, the semifinal press conference Saturday night live at 1900 Pacific. And then the post-event press conference at 1700 on Sunday with the finalists and the award ceremony, all live, thanks to Chris Bretschker and his GovCup TV team. Andy Rose and I and Matt Whitfield will be back doing commentary, as will, we think, Jeffrey Peterson.
Oh, good.
Will be joining us, and we hope that Marius Vesterlund, who's flying in from Sweden, we think we're going to press him into service as well.
Be lovely.
So it's going to be a cool event. And that all takes place at Balboa Yacht Club. It's sponsored this year again by a Balboa Yacht Club, long-time supporter of the event, the Crowell family at Balboa Yacht Club and others. They've got a bunch of sponsors, supporters to make it possible. The kids are all housed. You stay at home, right?
Yeah.
Do you house a team in addition to your own team, or you all stay locally in your homes? But then all the teams are housed. The food is taken care of. They have to fly in and eat. That's about it. Once they're there, they're picked up at the airport, and it's a fabulous event with Christine Gribben once again chairing it for, I don't know, the 10th or 11th time.
For life.
She's the chair for life, Andy Rose calls her. And her sister, Katie Maxim, is the chief umpire. Really top-notch group of umpires flying in again from around the world. So it's top drawer. Any final thoughts, Sienna?
Yeah, I'm really excited for GovCup coming up. I think it's going to be a really fun one this year. I think having time in the boats at Rose Cup, I think definitely probably helped a lot. And I hope helped a lot. And I think coming into the event, I'm really looking forward to just having a fun time. And yeah.
Well, good. We'll be cheering for you. And, I think we cheer for all the teams, the Newport Harbor Yacht Club teams as well. I've gotten to know Dylan a little bit, Dylan C., and gotten to know Morgan really well. He's a character in his own right. But the great thing about you and all the other skippers, I say this probably ad nauseum here on the show, Sienna, but you make us not only proud, all of you young sailors, but it gives us some confidence in the future of not only the sport, but the world, Julie.
Absolutely.
Bright young kids, responsible, having fun, and sailing fair, clean, and well.
Yes. That's always extraordinary. But the other thing that I love about it is it really gives parents and fans of those sailors a good look at what they do all the time. And it's that reverberates lots.
Sienna, did you ever hear the story about Leo Takahashi, who's another, a lot of the Fozy on here have gotten to know Leo through GovCup and otherwise, and he's a big fan. We're all big fans of his, as well as Harry Price and some of the others. And Leonard, who, finished second 3 times, never could quite win it. But now he's doing Sail GP, and he's gone on to, Olympic campaigns and so on. And he's just a very bright, super kid from New Zealand, Japanese heritage, Japanese mom and Kiwi dad. His grandmother sent a note to Andy Rose after, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago when we were doing the live TV and just getting it really up and running well. And she sent in this note, said, I knew that Leonard, flew off to these different events in different corners of the world, but I had no idea what he was doing until she watched it on GovCup TV. So it is. We do it for the friends and family, and I hope your friends and family will be watching as well and joining us and cheering for you and your team, Sienna, because you're doing a fabulous job.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Alan Long, just checking in the comments. Thanks, Sienna. Great interview. Best wishes on the race course to you and your team. Yarvahe is saying he's down in SoCal too. Good luck, Sienna, and lots of other comments rolling in. Go back, as Julia likes to remind us, to go back and look at the comments, because we leave the comments open even in replay, and a lot of folks around the world watch the show in replay, and you never know, somebody might say something that you will find quite interesting, including Ryman from South Africa saying, Ted is saying, Sienna is a lovely girl and a cool guest, amazing eyes that draw you in. Good luck, young lady. Ted Ryman.
Yes.
Bravo,
nice.
Bravo Zulu. Thanks, Sienna. We'll see you in a week from Tuesday, if not before.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ciao. Okay, Julia, it does give one
yes.
hope and confidence, right?
Absolutely.
This will be a fun event. That's the Governor's Cup 2025, the 58th edition thereof, starting Tuesday, a day later than usual, Tuesday the 29th of July, running through Sunday the 3rd of August, and we'll have 10 live shows
Yay.
in 6 days. It's a busy time for Chris Bretschker and his team of 20 volunteers that do GovCup TV, and I host the morning shows, and Andy Rose hosts the kickoff show on Tuesday night
Which
at
is
8
also
o'clock
good,
Pacific, the roast. And, of course, you just like Andy because he went to Stanford.
Well, I like him for lots of reasons, but that certainly didn't hurt. But the other thing that I'd like everybody to think about as they're watching the television coverage of the Governor's Cup is that it's all volunteer. And
Julie, I just
know.
inadvertently changed. I didn't mean to do that. Carry on, keep going.
and your club can do that too. It makes so much difference. We've seen of gathering friends and family, and so please think about the fact that this is all being done by volunteers and self-educated, all of us.
Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if our club can do it, I mean, it's a smart group down there and well led by, as I said, by Chris Bretschker. But if our club can do it, just about any other club, I think, who's got a few resources, who've got, clubs, as we've said this before, they appoint a race committee, they appoint a house committee, appoint a TV committee.
And drones have made a big difference too.
Good point. Huge difference.
Yeah.
And, Chris, we've gone from 1 drone to 2 drones, so you can have one up while the other's having its battery changed.
Yep.
To this, the Rose Cup, and this was, I think, the first time we had 4 drones.
Yes.
And we'll have 4 drones at GovCup as well.
Yeah, and if no other reason, there got to be drone advocates in the members or the members' children.
Well, it's astonishing how many people have drones,
right.
Do drones. No, I don't. But, Chris Bretschker's managed to find, in fact, has to fend some people off who want to come fly drones, and they're maybe not the correct fit, shall we say.
Yeah. Yes.
There's a guy on the staff at Balboa Yacht Club. His name escapes me. He's in the in the kitchen staff or service employee or management.
Oh, I remember.
And the guy has his own drone, and he has to ask permission of the club to, okay, can I have a couple minutes off? I'll take my coffee break. And he comes out, flies the drone around, takes shots of the boats departing, being towed out by the race committee boat, and so on. And when they're coming back in, and then sends me the video, and I use it in the morning show, or Chris uses it. Chris Bretschker uses it on the show. Great stuff. Good comment here by Gordon Smith. Have you noticed how Fozy manners always improve with polite and educated guests? Mary Longpree say, yes, his name is Alex. I can't remember his last name, Mary.
No.
And Dogzilla Monster, he worked at Boeing. He's got a DJI Mini 4, a Pro.
Oh, wow.
And Mary Longpree's also saying, so proud of Sienna and her team, go BYC. Yeah, these kids are also great. It does give one hope for the world.
Absolutely.
Shall we move on here, Julia?
Oh, we better.
A couple of other show notes before we get into the next segment. Just a reminder, we will be doing our regular Tuesday and Friday shows next week, 22nd, 25th. Both will be Road to the Governor's Cup as well as whatever else is going on. We may have some America's Cup news next week. And then on Tuesday, the 29th, I'll be down at Balboa Yacht Club. We will do our regular Tuesday show at 1300. That will be a GovCup preview with Christine Gribben, maybe Andy Rose, maybe others. But the kids will be out practicing that day. And then that night is the Meet the Teams. That's the roast that Andy Rose so brilliantly hosts.
Yes.
And that is live at 2000 Pacific, 0300 UTC, but you can watch it down under.
It gives you a really good look at all the team members.
Oh, it's hilarious.
It is.
And, it used to be Andy would prepare these roasts of the teams and say, oh, this is so-and-so, and they've done this. And he'd make a crack, and then they'd kind of wilt, and that would be the end of it. Now the kids come prepared.
They do.
And they'll even come to me because I'm directing the show in the back, and they'll say, now, when I get up there, I want you to cut the camera to this thing, and I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Last year, Morgan Pinckney brought a tricycle.
Yes.
Because Andy was making fun of Morgan Pinckney having ridden in a tricycle race in the Yale gymnasium.
Yeah.
And lost.
Yeah.
So Andy, so Morgan brought a tricycle, and brought it to the GovCup roast, the dinner, and challenged Andy. Of course, Andy's a big boy, and getting on one of those tricycles would have been hilarious. One of the other sailors
He fortunately declined.
He did. He wisely declined. So we'll do that, cover that live at 2000 Pacific Tuesday night, and then we'll be doing morning shows Thursday through Sunday, and Friday is a morning show. I won't do a regular show on Friday because we're doing all these morning shows, and I'll be out on the water at 1300 anyway, and then live coverage of the GovCup racing Saturday and Sunday at 11:30 Pacific. That's 18:30 UTC, and 6:30 in Auckland, 4:30 in Sydney when we get going. And then we're back to our regular Tuesday and Friday shows on Tuesday, the 5th of August. Just a little follow-up here before again.
Oh, yes.
John's doing very well. John Sangmeister. Here he is. We showed you this picture on Tuesday with Nurse Temple as he was getting out of, after only a couple, 3 days, UCLA Harbor Medical. Wasn't that something? He got out of there and in pretty good shape. And notwithstanding that one of his crew members, we told you on Tuesday's show, had to be talked through puncturing with a needle between, down 3 ribs or something.
Yeah.
John had a collapsed lung, and for him to be able to breathe in, they have to puncture.
You might explain that he was on the water during the Transpac.
Yes.
That's when it happened.
And that's when he happened that he got crashed into. If you didn't go back and watch the show from Tuesday, I don't want to go into the gory details again. I just want to apologize to the crew member who wielded the needle. And there was a doctor on via Zoom, but a Starlink setup, and the doctor was able to talk Craig Ramsey. I spelled his name wrong, and you know how I like to get names proper. Here it is. Talk Craig Ramsey through sticking the needle into John's ribs so he could breathe with a collapsed lung, get it reinflated. Thanks to William Sangmeister, another Fozy, for sending that photo along.
Yeah.
One other note, interesting note from the Transpac results. The 2025 barn door, meaning first to finish monohull, went to the Lucky, the VO70 Lucky. And since then, and with apparently these 2 pictures that were taken as they approached and then finished off Diamond Head, showing outriggers and showing the headsails, apparently U.S. Sailing's offshore director saw these pictures and said, hey, that's not in accordance with our rating. He alerted the race committee, who then filed a protest against Lucky. The jury, the protest committee, heard the protest and came to the conclusion that I won't bore you with reading all this, but that they had broken the rules by racing, and it was inadvertent. I'm now hearing. I've done some research into this, but North Sails provided the sails, and there was some confusion between North and between the boat captain and everyone else involved. Excuse me. They were flying the wrong sails. Everybody fessed up to it immediately, said, mea culpa, mea culpa. We didn't realize they'd failed to tick one of the boxes on their rating certificate. This didn't help them. Well, I mean, they presumably went faster with these sails, a little faster. It wouldn't have changed the barn door. They would have still won the barn door, and they have continued. They haven't been penalized from the barn door, but their finish position was penalized by some 9 hours. A percentage penalty, and it effectively, let me back that up. Effectively backed, where am I? Go back that up one more. Dropped them. I think I'm going to get that. There we go. Dropped them from 15th to 27th overall, the scoring penalty that the jury gave them for not having flown exactly the right sails according to their rating certificate. So some confusion there. I am, having looked into it, I'm satisfied there was no intentional breaking of the rules, no cheating involved here. It was just an oversight. But, you got to pay attention to the rules. You got to abide by the rules, and I think the jury probably did the right thing. And the good news is Lucky intends to come back and race next year or so one here. So,
and they still won the barn door.
And they still win the barn door because, they were first to finish. And, and that's an unrated thing. So.
Yes.
Okay, so Bravo salute to them and all involved. It looks like they've sorted that out. Now, I've given you a little preview of one other post-Tuesday show note, and this was this beautiful picture from Rick Tomlinson. And I asked you, Julia, during the show, what is a buck moon? Because Rick texted and said, it's a beautiful, got it from his Facebook, a beautiful full buck moon rising over the Needles, Isle of Wight on the 10th of July.
Yeah. And we have those.
You call it a strawberry moon.
Yeah, strawberry moon.
But au contraire, I had a Fozy after the show.
Yeah.
Inform me that the buck moon is the traditional name for the full moon in July, here in North America at least. The term comes from Native American and colonial American folklore, and it refers to the time of the year when the male deer, the bucks, begin to grow their new antlers, because, they rub them off in the spring, I guess. So they start to grow their new ones, and that is why it is called a buck moon.
Well, I'm glad to know that.
And it was the Algonquin Indians, and I used to live on Algonquin Drive in Michigan. So you know who sent that in?
Who?
You want to guess? One of our most erudite Fozy. The answer is on the slide.
Oh, yes.
Vice Commodore Herring, she didn't watch the show live, but she watches it in replay to see what we say about her in New York Yacht Club, I suppose.
Yes.
And she sent me a note right away. Don't you know what a buck moon is? You grew up in Michigan, Tom. You're supposed to know these things. She was more polite than that. That's what a buck moon is. I didn't know that.
No.
Let's go to the chat. We got a lot. It's not a fog machine saying Lucky is not a VO70. What is it? Fog machine, tell me what it is.
Rambler 66.
Where is that? You know what? You're right. It's Rambler 88. It was a custom.
88.
It was a custom design. Thank you very much. That's why we have such smart Fozy on here to keep me on the.
What's really wonderful is that if there is a mistake made, somebody pipes up and corrects it.
As well, they should.
Yes, it's wonderful.
I'm going to start making an intentional error and see something more subtle than calling it a VO70, knowing full well it was Rambler 88. When George David owned the boat. Not David George, who's a Balboa Yacht Club member, but George David, who is a New York Yacht Club member. Alex Costa, Mary Longprayer. I've got his email. I'm going to ping him and see. Becky Lenhart, who, bless her heart, is one of the smartest, coolest people in the sport. It's Castro. There, she got it. The BYC employee is Alex Castro. And he's got stuff that the club posts on their website and their Facebook page. I'll let him know you gave him a shout out. Please do, Becky. Becky is the racing director at Balboa Yacht Club for many years. We're all scared to death that sooner or later she's going to leave. And if she does, we'll be in a world of hurt at Balboa Yacht Club. The Lenhart Snipe family, Snipe racing family. I've known her brothers, parents, I can't remember. Pam Nichols. Sienna is the only girl skipper last year and this year, also the youngest competitor ever to do GovCup. Thank you, Pam.
Good.
Now, I wonder who Pam Jeffries Nichols is, because her mother is Melanie, I believe. Pam, is that an aunt or a sister? Who is Pam? Tell us who you are, please. Alan Long, I saw the piece, for example, about Lucky on the front page of Sailing Anarchy, which I wouldn't have even probably talked about it except for that Croutonic piece on Sailing Anarchy. That was not fair or correct what they said about Lucky, and I'll say nothing more than that. They were found not in compliance with their rating in 2 or 3 categories, which is sad for a certificate issued 1 week before the event. Yes, well, people do make mistakes, and it was a mistake, and I'm satisfied from doing some checking into the situation that that's what it was, and I'm not going to say anything more than that. Lucky is a Juan K 100, not Rambler 88. Launched as speedboat and then Rambler 100. Is that right? It's a 100-footer? So, Fog Machine, you gave me some bad advice up there, but Steve Groover has sorted us both out, it looks like.
Isn't it nice to have that kind of...
It is. So it's Rambler 88's the new boat. Is George David's second of the 2 Ramblers, from my recollection. And this is the 100-footer, Juan Cuyum Jean, who was a neighbor in Valencia, Spain. We used to spend a fair bit of time together with Juan K. David James, if you have a professional boat captain, isn't that kind of his job? Yes. I think there was some confusion between the afterguard and the boat captain and some other folks, but the owner, I'm satisfied, was not involved.
There's more as you go down. Rambler 100 is speedboat.
Yeah, it's Law Connect, Phil Yeomans. Yep, it's a 100-footer. Okay,
Yeah.
good. We got that sorted out. Thanks, everybody.
And Pam is Melanie Nichols' grandmother.
No. Pam must be Sienna's grandmother.
Oh, excuse me. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Now we got that sorted out. Man, oh man, Julia, we got corn fusion here on the show. We better get into our next segment, get out of the comments here before I make any more mistakes. So thanks for that, everybody,
Right.
for helping sort us out. Speaking of sorting us out, we got Jon Emmett, who's doing his coaching corner from the farm, but he's already now in Portsmouth with a media credential, doing Sail GP. Here's Jon.
Good for him.
From the coaching corner.
Hi, Tom, Julia, and all the Fosey. So it's time to do another little report from Imberhorn Farm, my family home, something I'm very proud of. And, you know, it's always nice to go home and see your mum, isn't it? But one of the big things, I think, is about building for the future. So if you haven't done this already, please do like, share and comment, and probably especially to focus on YouTube, because the content on YouTube is always there for years to come, and Facebook, for whatever reason, is gradually deleting live shows, which I think it's a great shame, because actually the live show and the comments are really what makes Sailing Illustrated to me. Now, Tom, Julia and all the Fosey have kept me company on many a trip from Weymouth to the farm or for the farm and back, where I can listen but not comment. But the interactive part is such an important point. And talking about interactive, my goal for 2025 is very much about inclusivity. Hopefully people will have checked out the little reel I did for the Castle Cove cadets. And I do like working with the young people, because it always makes you feel like a fantastic coach, because, well, you know, they just improve so much at that age. But actually it's also even more important to be technically correct, so they don't get ingrained bad habits. And one of the interesting things was asking the young sailors about their role models. And the need for role models is very important. And that's why, in terms of promoting our sport, we need to lift up those personalities high. And in terms of parasailing especially, one of the biggest barriers to sailing is the equipment. I'm very lucky to have a Devotti D0. I'm very lucky to have an Ilka. Lily's able to borrow, sort of permit loan a Wasp, and we can go sailing. I mean, the big boat side of things, we're definitely not going to be able to buy a keel boat, but there's plenty of opportunities for rides. But for parasailing, some people will need specialist equipment, and that's probably one of the things I'm going to try and do a longer form video on, just to show how, you know, specialist boats like the Hansa, etc., can make it possible for sailors to get on the water who otherwise wouldn't have that opportunity. And I do wonder, if we look at some of the new boats that have been developed in the last 5, 10, 20 years, whether there's an option for new power class to make sailing even more accessible and bring things up to date. Because as I said before, you know, tennis players aren't still playing with wooden tennis rackets, and here I'm doing maintenance on the farm, and it's very interesting, you know, when things were put together, because my dad's dad literally built the farm. Technology and materials and stuff changes. I'm trying very much to keep the traditional, you know, to keep the farm looking as was, but also to make it more robust for the future. And it's been a real learning experience for me. And I think that goes in terms of sailing. I mean, you know, wooden boats are incredibly beautiful, but they're very hard in terms of the upkeep compared to, you know, the more modern plasticky boats. And that's why, you know, you see people sail very different classes, and sailing schools have different requirements. And I think Olympic sailing to a certain extent has different requirements, but there's something out there for everybody. But it's the power side of the sport that we really need to support. And I think perhaps one of the simplest ways is to try and do fundraising so that there can be equipment available at your club for parasailors to use. Now, the UK has been quite progressive, and there's been specifically grants to make clubhouses accessible and so on and so forth. But the equipment, I think, and the expense of sailing is probably one of the biggest barriers, and certainly one of the perceived biggest barriers. So for the parasailors, that's definitely something we need to look at, and also just to have that regular flow of content. Now, the IPC may not be meeting and discussing things for many months, but if the internet is flooded with positive content of sailing, then I think it's just just only going to help our cause. I remember after 2012, there was various shows who did a bit of comedy about the sailing, sort of pointing out they didn't quite know what was going on, who was winning, who crossed, who was in the lead, and that sort of thing. So we need to make our sport easier to understand, but the whole grassroots factor is to make it as accessible as possible and to have as many people sailing as possible. And on that note, sail fast, sail safe, keep having fun, and try and invite others to join in the fun too.
What makes you think we were ever having any fun?
Yeah.
We're having fun as usual, especially now that they're sorting out whether it's Rambler 88 or Rambler 100. Did you see all those comments back and forth?
Yes, indeed.
Fog Machine was right. That's Jon Emmett, of course, get to the front of the fleet, and Jon Emmett Sailing, and thank you for that. We also like to say at the end of his segment, because he's been leading the charge on this from our show number 805 on the 31st of January, way back, we've been talking about getting parasailing reinstated for Brisbane as a demonstration event for 2032, and I'm pleased to report that there is progress being made thanks to the Australians, being led by Australian Sailing and Alistair Murray and their new president and so on, their new CEO. We have an interview with their new CEO, thanks to Alistair today on AAAA, Malcolm Page. And they're putting the full-on pressure. Anything any of the rest of us can do to do that, to help move that along, get the Olympic Organizing Committee in Brisbane to put parasailing, put our sport back in the Paralympics as a demonstration event would be very cool. Very good indeed. Back to these comments now. Have you all sorted it out? My God.
No.
Got to go. Thanks, Tom and Julia. Well, that Fritz is he's down in Miami. He's leaving us. Well, it's cocktail hour down there. It's 5:07 in Miami. 17:07. Positive vibes generate energy and progress. Bravo, Zulu, Jon Emmett. Absolutely. We try to keep it positive on here, don't we, Julia?
We do.
But I think they have concluded in the chat now, have they not?
Well, two things.
What?
One is Groover to David James saying the captain is only responsible for rating and rules compliance if it's in their job description.
Okay, fair enough. But it normally is. It's normally the captain and the tactician and maybe the strategist, the afterguard. But the important thing is I think they have now agreed, have they not, that Fog Machine was right, that it is, Lucky is
the old
George David's Rambler 88, not Rambler 100.
Yeah.
And the Rambler 100 is that in Australia and Europe? That's Law Connect? I don't know.
Well, Phil, it says Phil Yeoman. Has it. Yeah.
He says Rambler 100 speedboat was speedboat for a while, is now Law Connect and has been racing in Sydney Hobart. Okay. I hope we have that sorted out.
I'm confused.
One can only hope. But it's Rambler 88, and I think that's Lucky.
Yeah.
It's George David's old Rambler 88. Okay, good. Let's check in on Long Beach and the Olympic Classes Regatta. We talked about that on Tuesday's show at some length. Nice event going on there. The first half of it concluded on Tuesday, in fact. The racing for the first 5 classes of Long Beach Olympic Classes Regatta wrapped up on Tuesday with a twist in conditions and breeze just to mix it up for the competitor. I don't know why we always talk about the weather instead of the results in the opening paragraph, or as Gordon Smith likes to call it, the lead, L-E-D-E. But nonetheless, please put the results in. I did get the results for you in a moment. While the strong breeze offshore teased the race committees, courses were run in proposed race areas and competitors had to rely on grit and determination to maintain leads, L-E-A-D-S, or climb to the podium. They had some beautiful medals. It says LB OCR, Long Beach Olympic Classes Regatta. They were awarded to the top 3 in each of the 5 classes that have so far competed as of Tuesday. The next 5 classes are underway now, yesterday, Thursday through Sunday. Here is the women's Formula Kite, completed, gold in the middle, Jessie Kampman from Netherlands, the silver on the left, Si Wang from China, and bronze, Wan Li, also from China. Interesting. There's the men's Formula Kite, the gold in the middle, finger raised, is Tony Vadazic from Slovenia. Is that Slovenia or Slovakia? I always have to have Jon Emmett, remind me. I think it's Slovenia. Silver is Connor Bainbridge from Great Britain, and bronze from the Czech Republic. That should be CZE. That's not my graphic. Votek Koska there on the right. Then in the ILCA 6, the gold is in the middle again. Eve, I guess, McMahon from Ireland, McMahon. Silver on the left, Hannah Snellgrove from Great Britain, and the bronze, Agata Barwinska from Poland on the right. Then in the ILCA 7s, the gold went to Elliot Hansen from Great Britain. They're in the middle. Silver, Michael Beckett, a.k.a. Mickey Beckett, who's been a perennial medalist and so on in that class. He was the silver medal winner there on the left, and bronze was Pavlos Kantidis, also misspelled, not my graphic, from Cyprus. Now, speaking of FOSI, in the 470 mix, this was interesting. There must have not been many foreign 470s there. All the medals were taken by Americans. Gold in the middle, our FOSI Justin Callahan, who I think will be with us next Friday on the show on the road to the Governor's Cup, with Lara Dahlmann Weiss,
Yes.
We'd say Weiss auf Deutsch, crewing for him. And this was their first time sailing together in a competitive major competition and in a 470 for Justin. Silver, Nicole Barnes and Ryan Squire on the left there. And the bronze, Neil Marcellini and Naomi Lowenthal, also from the USA. But bravo Zulu to Justin Callahan. This kid is going from strength to strength. He not only did well in the 470, there he is. By the way, his sail number, he told me by text this morning, is 1851. And he knew. I said, well, do you know the significance of that number? Because that's my favorite number in the world.
Yeah.
Not that I'd ever use it for any codes or, security codes or anything. We wouldn't do that, would we?
No.
But his kite is something else. But he knew 1851 was the birth of the America's Cup, and that's his sail number. There he is, and there he is with Laura, and his a quote that I found somewhere online. Courtesy U.S. Sailing Team. First of all, the new 470 team of Justin Callahan and Lara Dahlmann Weiss made a strong debut, winning 9 of 12 races.
Wow.
I mean, they dominated. Quote, "It was great to race the 470 this week, especially on Olympic waters. It was my first time racing the boat, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity to compete against the world's best sailors. I cannot be more excited for what's to come." And we'll ask Justin about that next week when he is one of our guests on Road to the Governor's Cup. I believe next Friday that's going to happen. He also has recently been named College Sailor. Yes, indeed. College Sailor of the Year, which is a huge accolade here in the States.
Yes.
And not only that, but his twin brother, and they're not exactly identical twins either, but we've gotten to know his twin brother, Mitchell, from the Governor's Cup. He was named an academic All-Ivy League. They're both bright as hell. Graduated from their high school down in Miami, got both accepted at Harvard, and they're doing very well there. On and off the water, Julia.
Yes, indeed.
At the Stanford of the East. Come on, Julia.
They keep trying.
I made that joke for you and Andy. Andy calls it the Stanford of the East. We call it the Michigan of the East, and we call your school the Michigan of the West.
I know.
Right?
You're right.
This nice photo showing what the ILCAs are enjoying in Long Beach that they're not going to enjoy if, in fact, the boats are raced over at San Pedro, but they're enjoying racing. That's Alamedas Bay Yacht Club, I believe, right in the background there. Fabulous spot in Long Beach for yacht racing. This is where all 10 classes should be raced in 2028. And I'm going to keep on that, and if we can change it, we will. And there are some initiatives behind the scenes to try to get it back to sanity. Bravo Zulu to all involved. They pulled off. They're not quite done yet. Sunday is the second half. The second phase ends for the other 5 classes, and we'll report on that on next Tuesday's show, Julia. the Long Beach Olympic Classes Regatta. Let's get into our feature today of Sail GP, which is in Portsmouth in the UK tomorrow and Sunday. They are halfway through the season. This is the 8th event, if I've done my math right, counted correctly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The 8th event of 14. So we're a little halfway through the season. And it's back in Great Britain. They haven't been there since season 3. And they were in Plymouth, remember, before. This is, I believe, the first time they raced in Portsmouth. And here is their promo video. Buy your tickets. They got a bunch of seats there, and
That's very impressive.
it's
actually.
I shouldn't have cut away from that shot quite so quickly. Artist impression event layout, but it's pretty impressive looking, isn't it, Julia? From what we've seen. But speaking of Justin, he's just checking in. He is in Portsmouth, helping the U.S. Sail GP team before he heads to Plymouth, to Gdynia, for the World Youth Match Racing Championship, and it's there that we hope to catch up with him on next Friday's show for the Road to the Governor's Cup. And as soon as that regatta's over, they're flying straight to Newport Beach for the GovCup.
GovCup.
So they're busy boys, and it's not just him. I know that Josh, now I've forgotten Josh's last name again, the Kiwi kid who's sailing, he's a superb sailor from the Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron, and also Morgan Pinckney. I hope to have all three of them on next Friday's show, Road to the GovCup. So back on Sail GP here, you know who the top 3 dogs are going forward. Your favorite team, Julia.
Yes, I'm still.
You're on top.
Yep.
And the second place team are the Australians. Despite having lost their rig here in San Francisco, they're still in second place, just a point back of Spain, of Diego Botín. And that, of course, is Tom Slingsby. And then third place, just a point back of that, is New Zealand's Peter Burling. The question is, Julia, what's going to happen this weekend with the British team? Because a lot of people think they will perform well on their home waters. As you can see, they're standing 4th. Dylan Fletcher and co, we're going to feature them a bit here in a moment. On down through 12th place, the struggling U.S. team, who have 0 points, tied for last place with the Deutsche Bank, the German Deutsche Bank team of Eric Heil and Taylor Canfield, of course, the driver/skipper of the American team, Julia. So how's your team? Are they going to win this weekend?
I was thinking about something else, because in one of our videos today, somebody was sailing at Botín.
Botín. It's the same family. Well done. Your favorite skipper, Diego Botín,
Right.
and I don't know if he is the son or the nephew or what of the famous yacht designer, the Botín, and that yacht
it's a
design
time.
house. It's all the same family, and they're all super sailors
Oh, isn't that nice?
from España.
Yes.
Well done. So that's the current standings. And let's talk a little bit about the Brit team, see if they can raise their game. They've had struggled a bit in the last 2 events. And we shall see if Emirates GBR is ready for battle, as is claimed on their website today. They did a big push, as you can imagine. Sail GP's Fast and Furious Racing returns to UK shores this weekend. Nice photos taken from practice days in the last day or so in Portsmouth. And the Emirates Great Britain, this is from their website again, Great Britain Sail GP team is ready for battle as the Fast and Furious Racing returns to the UK shores this weekend. The Portsmouth Sail GP takes place on 19 through 20 July, with 20,000 fans expected to line the shore at South Sea Common to witness 12 national teams competing in identical foiling 50-foot catamarans that travel at speeds up to 100 kilometers per hour. It's going to be a little light tomorrow, according to everything I'm seeing, reading, and hearing from Russell Coutts, including his report. But the team has spent some time as the esteemed guests in and around Portsmouth, which is a huge naval port, as most of you will know, for the UK. I guess their largest naval port. In preparation for this weekend, the Emirates GBR race squad was invited by the Royal Navy on board the warship HMS Dragon in Portsmouth. Driver Dylan Fletcher, strategist Hannah Mills, flight controller Luke Parkinson, wing trimmer Ian Jensen, and grinders Nick Hutton and Neil Hunter viewed the race course from the Dragon and discussed tactics to climb back into the top 3 on the leaderboard. Emirates GBR currently sits 4th on the 2025 season, as we've just shown you, on the season leaderboard, and after suffering a tough stint at the U.S. events and slipping out of the top 3 after the New York event last month. Another nice photo of this team, doing a little feature on today, as you would. They're the hometown, the home team. Emirates GBR driver Dylan Fletcher said, quote, "We started the season really strong with 3 podium results in 3 events. Then we had a couple of difficult events in San Francisco and New York. We know we are capable of more, and we know that if we go and sail in Portsmouth at our normal level, then we can easily come away with a win. We're really looking forward to being in front of the home crowd and hope we can put on a great show and get a top result."
Home crowd will help a lot.
Should. Well, we'll see. They really, I mean, you hear the crowd noise on the television, but that's canned applause and canned noise for the most part.
Yeah.
And and if you're out on the water going that fast and you got helmets on and you got earbuds in, you're not going to hear much of the crowd cheering, even if you were right up close and personal. The press conference this morning was frankly pretty blah. I don't know how they stuffed 5 people onto that couch, but they did. Several of you sent that picture to me and said, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot doesn't look comfortable with the gang there. But anyway, I'm not going to take any even excerpts from the press conference because it wasn't very interesting, except this, which was, again, the GBR team. It's definitely my ambition, Hannah Mills said in a pre-press conference with Sir Ben and Russell. I don't know who the host was, the lady on the right. It's definitely my ambition, Emirates GBR's Hannah Mills, on plans to launch her own sail GP team. So that I thought was interesting news, and here's a clip from that press conference.
Are you still thinking in the future to start your own sail GP team?
I wonder where that came from. Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't want to own a sail GP team? Or be part of setting one up, and obviously Ben's been incredibly supportive of me, and we're working together on what opportunities could look like next. But yeah, ultimately that's my ambition as a female sailor. I really feel a responsibility for the next generation to try and push the boundaries. We've seen Martine come in doing an incredible job with the Brazilian team, and yeah, for me, I think it's only a good thing if we have more women doing different roles, different franchises. It's definitely my ambition.
I don't know if Ben looked all that amused about her going off and doing her own team, Julia, but I hope she does. She's obviously one of the best sailors in the world, and bravo Zulu to her. And as a couple of you said in the comments, the press conferences are not nearly as interesting as when Tom Blackaller and sat next to Dennis Conner, sat next to Chris Dixon, John Bertrand, whomever, on the dais with Bruno Trouble trying to maintain some kind of order there.
You never knew what was coming out.
And it was entertaining, and it was interesting. And these guys are much more likely to say something when they're in that crucible in front of the whole crowd with others on the stage beside them.
Right.
But now it's so corporate speak, it's so restrained. I got to promote my sponsor and not say anything that will offend anybody.
Yeah.
Instead of, the truth. Sponsors get easily excited, Bill Canfield is saying. Bill, our longtime friend, father of Taylor Canfield.
Right.
David James making a historical note here. Plymouth was the home port of the fleet that defeated the Armada, so that doesn't bode well for the Spanish, Julia.
Oh, I better note that.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, Marcelino Botín. Chris actually is reminding us he's the designer, So here's another photo, Julia.
Mm-hmm.
Today was to be the official practice day. They did some, it was some practice racing, not only for the teams, but for the race committee and TV and so on. But there was no practice racing today because there was no wind.
Yeah.
Good news is that Richard Gladwell is also there. So we've got going to have coverage. I didn't know he was there, but it says here in Sail World, he is at Portsmouth.
Yeah.
So I took that as good news.
Yes.
And of course, we've got Jon Emmett there as well with him. As I said at the top of the show, he's got a press credential and his camera and his microphone. So he'll shoot some interesting things.
Yes.
One other interesting point in preview is that this gentleman, San Diego's Andrew Campbell, has signed with the U.S. Sail GP team. And this was announced on their website a couple days ago. It strengthens its roster prior to the Emirates Great Britain Sail GP. And this, again, from the U.S. Sail GP team's website. Now, Russell does his Russell Report, and they cover that, and that was on their website today. And I looked through it and frankly didn't find anything too interesting in there, except he did comment on Andrew Campbell. And let's read a little bit here between the lines, because Russell said, USA has added Andrew Campbell to their squad, so they now have him and Michael Menninger as reserve. Several of you asked me, what's going on with this?
Yeah.
What's his role going to be? And I said, I frankly don't know. I haven't heard. There's nothing on the USA Sail GP team. Maybe Bill Canfield knows. But he apparently is a reserve athlete along with another SoCal, Michael Menninger from Newport Beach. The good news is the U.S., this is Russell now, back to his quote, the U.S. also has some talented young athletes like Riley Gibbs and Harry Melgus, who, of course, just won the TP52 Worlds.
Yeah.
Skippering the American Magic quantum racing boat. Riley Gibbs and Harry Melgus that would obviously need some F50 training and time in the simulator, but once that's done, they would be good options to build out the team for the future.
No question about that.
Julia?
Yeah.
What do you think? Is that a message from Russell?
I think so.
To Mike Buckley and the leadership of the U.S. Sail GP team? Bill Canfield, I wonder if you saw that, Bill, at Taylor's dad. An interesting little thing there from Russell. Yes. What else did Russell say? Well, he said, when it comes to Portsmouth's conditions, I think it's going to be similar to New York on day one, which, that's not much air and a lot of current. You're likely to have light to moderate winds between 15 to 19 kilometers per hour. And that's what, 6, 7, 8, 9 knots, if my in the head math is correct, and a cross current.
Mm-hmm.
It seems likely we may have quite a bit more wind on Sunday. Yes, it looks like it'll be quite breezy. We told you that Mr. Dr. Andrew McIrvin was telling us it's going to really get breezy in the afternoon on Sunday. He hopes the fleet is back and finished from the Channel race by then. So Russell's thinking it's going to be breezy as well. In fact, Sunday might be really windy, and the 18-meter wing configuration, the shorter wings. Spain will be in the hunt for a third event win, but for me, Russell picks the Bonds Flying Roos, Tommy Slingsby, as they remain the team to beat, in his opinion, especially if we get the expected high winds. Tom does seem to be good in a breeze. I'm picking the Flying Roos, Spain, and North Star Canada. Oh, Canada, to make up the podium. Not the Kiwis who are leading, not the Spanish who are leading. I mean, 2 other teams.
Well, yeah.
So, Julia.
Well, they're in the hunt. They're on the podium, though.
Well, we'll see. What do you think? You want to go first, or should we ask the Fozy, our usual Fozy poll, who's going to win? Tell us in the chat.
I'd rather listen to the Fozies.
Who you think's going to win? Let's see what they're saying. Oh, my God, that's rolling in here now. Jon Emmett said that Richard Gladwell did the technologies tour with him. Yeah, I saw some videos that John, they do the tech tour with the media and show them the boats and the wings and so on. Ed Worley saying reserve, meaning Andrew Campbell. They have the dollars for that. Apparently they do. Yeah, excited right up to until they need to write the check. There's Kimball Livingston, Staff Commodore Kimball. Michael Menager is now NorCal St. Francis Yacht Club, but yes, his origins lie in Newport Beach. So he's a fellow St. Francis member now. Thank you for that, Commodore Livingston. I thought I saw you were out east someplace. Maybe you are. I thought I saw you at the Wiano Yacht Club or someplace out on the Cape in Cape Cod in Facebook this morning. Maybe you're back here by now. Yarvahe, Brazil, looked like they had technical problems today. Well, they didn't get any racing in, did they, Yar? Sunday, wet and windy from the south. John would know. He's a local. Pedro Foiling Sailor. We've got a report from Pedro coming up, not in this show, but very soon on his latest project. H4, Harry Melgus IV, is a no-brainer to helm an F50. So says Peter Stevenson, a.k.a. Pedro Foiling Sailor.
Right.
Jon Emmett, GBR, he thinks will make the podium. Ted Ryman also thinks GBR, then Denmark, then Spain.
Okay.
So Ted at least likes your team, Julia. Alex Hayworth, thank God the GB team has only lost 12 M since season 1. What's that mean? 12 M, 12 meters, 12. What does that mean, Alex? 12 million? I think he means $12 million since season 1. Okay, John's got some video up there. Chris Exley is choosing for the podium. GBR first, Australia second. And GBR, you don't mean GBR third, Chris Exley. Susan Watson Kennedy chiming in here. She's our PR extraordinaire. She does the publicity distro for us at GovCup. She's saying Alex Castro of the Balboa Yacht Club staff does amazing work. Follow him. And she's given an Instagram link to his work. Thanks for that, Susan Kenny. We'll look forward to seeing you soon. Oh, it's 12 million pounds, Alex Hayworth is saying that team, the Great Britain Sail GP team has lost. Kimmel Livingston, not at Wiano, just following my kids at the C420 Women's North Americans, which are taking place out east, I believe.
And his kids are the juniors that he
is, Kimball is amazing. Here's a guy, you talk about not only a Pied Piper, but a dedicated guy to have gone through the committees, the board, the flags at St. Francis, and now he's taken on youth sailing, junior sailing in a big way, promoting it, not only here at St. Francis, not only here on San Francisco Bay, but up and down the coast and beyond.
Right.
Kimball, bravo Zulu to you. It's people like Kimball and all the other FOSI that are on here that contribute.
And he's going to Ilka Youth Worlds tomorrow.
He is.
That's what it says.
Well, he's going to be, I think, watching it. Are you, Kimball, are you going down there to the Ilka Youth Worlds down at San Pedro? That'll be interesting if he goes down there.
Give him a mic.
Yeah, David James saying that PR has been much less entertaining since Ted Turner, the mouth of the South. Typo Chris Exley saying GBR, OS, and then ESP. I think he means GBR, not GNR, a goner. That's what GNR stands for. That's what Russell says. Russell's picking the Bonds Ruse, Tom Slingsby and co. He picked Spain second, Great Britain, New Zealand. I mean, who do you all think? Anybody else want to weigh in? Julia, you're picking your Spanish team again?
I will.
Who's second? Got to have a tie break.
I don't know. Because I haven't seen GBR really sail lately, and maybe somebody like Denmark will come up.
Well, okay. You are the one who seems to put your finger on success ahead of it. You have some kind of a Ouija board up there at the Commodore's suite?
No, but the only thing I was looking at is boat handling.
Oh, well.
And I think the Spaniards have been sailing together for a long time.
You have?
And they've been sailing very well together, and they love each other, and they're having fun.
You just love those Latin boys.
I do.
You like the Brits. You like all the boys, irrespective of where they're from, Julia. Just admit it.
Oh.
John interviewed the Spanish and the Aussies today.
Oh, good.
Dogzilla, a.k.a., I'm going to use his real name sometime, Dogzilla Monster. Stingray up in Seattle says Oz, then New Zealand, then Spain. I am going to go with the Brits myself, Julia.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm going to go out with the Brits. I think that team needs a boost. I think they're teed up for a boost. I think they know the waters.
Yeah.
I think they are, not that the home crowd means all that much. It's tough competition. If John, let's see what the conditions are. I'm not even going to hedge the bet. I think the Brits are the team to beat this weekend, the hometown team. Let's hope so. I'd like to see them climb up the board. I'd like to see the Americans do better as well, Julia.
Oh, I would too.
Huh?
I would too, but I'm not sure they're ready to.
Well, I know. Okay, any other comments? Any others? Paul Callahan is saying hi from New York Yacht Club at Harbor Court in Newport. This is the father of those Callahan twins, the superb sportsmen, sailors, and academics that they are.
Yes.
Scholar athletes, Julia.
Yes.
Right?
Terrific.
At the Michigan of the East.
Yes.
Harvard. Okay, let's carry on here. And this day in history, just a brief one, but our show now is, we're going to get into kind of an Australian segment. There's a clue. What happened on this, excuse me, what happened on this day in 1801, Julia? You want a clue?
Yep.
Here is your first clue.
I don't know who that is.
That's Alistair Murray's great-great-great-great-grandfather.
How terrific.
No, it's not. That's Captain Matthew Flinders.
Oh, yeah.
Who is a Brit.
Yep.
Who lived from 1774 to 1814, not very long.
Mm-hmm.
And he was with Captain Bligh at one point. He was a middy. He was a midshipman with Captain Bligh.
Uh-huh.
And then he got his own command. Eventually, he got command of HM Investigator.
Aha.
And that is a 1937 etching by somebody called Geoffrey Ingleton. He was an Australian artist. And it's from the State Library of New South Wales.
Okay.
But what did Matthew Flinders do with HM Investigator on this day in 1801?
Did he? Oh no! It's.
You want another clue?
I was going to say he entered the whatever it is.
David James has got it. You see in the chat the last comment.
Yeah.
Is Australia one island or two?
Mm-hmm.
Chris Exley, first shipment of convicts to Australia. He does. It does look like he took convicts down there. By the way, I didn't confirm that. And what else here? Sailed around Oz, Yarvahe. Go ahead, Julia.
Yeah. Oh, I want you to take careful note of the Gulf of Carpinteria, which is at the top.
Right, exactly. And of course, you were born in Carpinteria,
right.
California.
Yes.
Down by Santa Barbara. Well, what he did, apparently in 1801, he left the UK, probably with a load of convicts, who knows, and he got to Sydney, going around the south side. He passed Cape Lewin and beyond, checked out Melbourne and the area, and he got around Port Phillip and up to Sydney. That was 1801. So it was on this day he actually left, I believe, for Australia. He got down there, and then it was, they knew that what they used to call Van Diemen's Land, which of course is Tasmania. They knew that was a separate island, but they also thought Australia was two different islands, as David James correctly points out, in Yarvahe and Phil Yeomans and others. So he then, after being down there for a bit, in 1802, for a full year, 1803, he did a circumnavigation of Oz and proved once and for all. And he was also a bit of a map maker. He was a bit of what do you call that? A cartologist. Cartographer. Not a cartologist. That's like a cardiologist. A cartographer. Well done, Julia.
Mm-hmm.
And he proved once and for all that Australia was just one big island, if not continent. Fog Machine wants to know, Julia, if you played golf in Carpinteria.
No. Didn't.
No, she raised avocados and almonds. And what did you raise on that farm? Oranges?
Lemons and avocados.
Oh, lemons and avocados. I can never remember.
And the Carpinteria Beach State Park.
Yes.
for a long time.
Don't tell me you had affairs on that beach.
I wouldn't tell you about that. I know. But it was known as the world's safest beach because nobody was ever
accosted on there.
Drowned.
Oh, drowned. Down near Santa Barbara. Beautiful part of the world. One of the nicest parts of this country.
Yeah.
Where you grew up.
Yeah.
Why aren't you still there? Why didn't you stay there?
I just looked at the. I just looked at the.
There was no St. Francis Yacht Club down there.
Well, Santa Barbara Yacht Club ain't so bad.
Well, no, it's a nice club to be sure. Okay, why are we prattling on here? It's 1440 if you're just joining us. We're an hour and 40 minutes into this show. We start at 1300 every Tuesday and Friday. We'll do so again this Tuesday, coming Tuesday. And that's what happened on this day in history. The HM Investigator, the first ship to circumnavigate Oz in 1802 to 1803. That's not what happened on this day. He actually sets off on a voyage. He, the explorer, navigator, and cartographer, Matthew Flinders, to determine if New Holland, as it was then called, is one island or two. And he had a botanist and he had artists and he had the usual collection of adventuresome people.
Yes, there's lots of tales of it.
Cooking, fashion, travel, Julia, from here to eternity. It's a great beach. Joe Holtzman likes your beach. You know, Joe Holtzman's from Michigan or Ohio. I can't remember, but, I knew him from our home yacht club. And then he ended up in SoCal, and now he's in Estes, Colorado. The guy's been around.
Yeah, good.
And he's a Fozy. He has been so loyal to this show, sends the odd comment every now and then. They're always constructive and helpful, and nice to have Joe on here as well. And has had his knees fixed, and he's done the rehab religiously.
As he should.
As you should. If you're going to have surgery, you got to do the rehab. Jon Emmett will tell you that. I will tell you that, having done my 2 major back operations, did not do the PT, did not do the rehab so religiously after the first one. That's maybe why I had to do the second one. This day in history, 18 July 1801, gets us, Julia, to the AAAA for today.
Oh, good.
We got Alistair, who is in Europe. And he's now, after being here, there, and everywhere, he's at Lake Garda for the Taser Worlds, sailing with his daughter. Mm-hmm. And he submitted Alistair's awesome Aussie anecdote last night. This is a photo. He sent me a bunch of photos, but I've only had time to put this one in. Do you remember this one from the Etchells? I believe this is the Etchells Worlds in Melbourne earlier this year. And that, of course, is Malcolm Page, the newly anointed, just recently, CEO of Australian Sailing. And Alistair caught up with him on the shore of beautiful Lake Garda.
I love that place, too.
G'day, Tom, Julia, and all the Fozy. This is Alistair here with AAAA, the latest episode for Sailing Illustrated. Sitting here with my mate, Mel Page. Welcome, Malcolm, to Sailing Illustrated. We're here in this unbelievable venue for sailing. I'm here for the Tasars. Malcolm's here for the RS21s, which he's just done, and the J70s, which are upcoming. Good sailing, Mel?
Beautiful. Can't go run Lake Garda.
Yeah.
Best place.
It's stunning. It's absolutely stunning. But the big news is your recent appointment. Mate, I couldn't be happier for you. We were so thrilled. Trace and I were just out of bed, over the moon when we heard it. Congratulations on the role, and what does it mean to you to get it?
Super exciting to get the role. Obviously, I fell in love with the sport at a very young age. I think it was about 7 years old when I first got involved in the sport, and it's been my passion all my life. Of course, I did the Olympics and all that, but I dreamt the sport. I thought about the sport all the time. Never missed one season. Often 2 seasons a year, chasing the sun around the world. One of the advantages living in the southern hemisphere. So to be now in that role for Australian sailing, because I do bleed green and gold. So it's really exciting. Really exciting. I can't wait to get the feet under the desk.
Wow! Not only are you a great friend, Malcolm, but you're going to do a great job. This is going to be really a new chapter for Australian sailing, I think. And the response from the Australian sailing community to your appointment is pretty positive. You've had a lot of messages.
Yeah, the phone's been running hot. So it's actually good to maybe get away to Italy for a while and have a little reprieve.
Yeah. So when do you start, and what are you going to do first?
So the Monday after I get back from here, I start. So yeah, I think I have about 4 days of reacquainting myself with the family before starting the role. But I guess the first role is not only just get my legs under the desk and make sure I do have the keys to the front door. Is I think internally to really get to know all the staff. You know, it's 80 odd staff around the country, so getting around and meeting all them and them knowing me knowing them, I think is going to be the sort of the first point of call.
Yeah.
Actually, we do have a board meeting the first week where I'm back. I'm in the role, so that'll be very telling as well.
Now, this is
meet with them.
This is interesting. Also, I invited you onto the board, and then I left. I finished my term. You've got a board meeting. You'll have to step down from the board now that you're the CEO. Is this going to be your last board meeting or your first as CEO?
I've already stepped down from the board from the board group. So as soon as the appointment occurred, I did that to make sure that all the governance was in the right lines and etc. I even got dropped from the WhatsApp group. So that's the way it goes. But
quickly they forget.
Yes, don't they? But I guess I'm still sitting around the board table in that different role, and in many ways a more influential role. So no, it's still very exciting.
And Charlie Enright, you know, we've had a few chats, and he's actually been a guest on Sailing Illustrated. He's got a challenging role. You've got a challenging role, but I think Australian sailing's in pretty good shape. Charlie's got some challenges, and I know that I've reached out to him offering some help. I believe you've been in contact with him as well.
Well, I haven't yet.
No?
I was waiting.
Where are you going to?
I was waiting till I get my email address sorted. But of course, I knew Charlie from my time in America. So and he was top guy. And I think it's just, maybe I'm talking from a biased situation, but I think it's really cool to see sailors in these roles.
Yeah.
Sports administrators become quite professional around the world, and but see people who are really passionate about a sport to be sitting in these roles is really cool. And I'm going to be certainly reaching out to Charlie because not only is he a good bloke, but he's I think we can share a lot of knowledge and make the sport better.
That's great. Yes. But the reason I'm smiling is you want to ask Jon Emmett about non-sailing CEOs, how strongly he feels about them.
So, I have heard that, yes.
So great to have Charlie in the role, and he'll get our support because what's good for sailing in both countries is good for sailing in general, and we want to see both succeed. And so with you in charge there, and Charlie and a lot of other great people around the world, I think it's onwards and upwards for sailing.
Can't wait.
Good on you, mate. Congratulations again, and good sailing here in Garda for you and me.
Yes, of course.
Good on you, mate. Go right. Cheers. All right, bye, Tom and Julia and all the Fozy. See ya. Okay, that's Alistair's awesome Aussie anecdote. The AAAA, not having anything to do with Alcoholics Anonymous. Right, Julia?
That's right.
But
this
I like
is 4 A's.
This is 4 A's, not 3. But I really like what he said about Charlie Enright, the new CEO of U.S. Sailing.
Yeah.
And I must also say that one of the best things that I got all the Anglo-speaking, all the English-speaking executive directors, CEOs of the various governing bodies together. We did it every year in London in November during the World Sailing meetings. And very quickly wired together. We got to know, on a first name basis, and you get the fax numbers so you can communicate and the phone numbers. Australia, New Zealand, Canada, the U.S., Bermuda even, the RYA, the RORC, racing manager, racing director. And we'd meet, and people say, oh, there go the Americans are going off, or there go the Anglos are off having a discussion. And pretty soon other executive directors wanted to join us, and we said, great.
Yes.
So anybody who was kind of English speaking was welcome. And of course, most everybody in those days and now speaks English. So getting the executive directors together, I think is a capital idea. Thanks again to Alistair for promoting that. He's not watching, I don't believe, because what time is it? It's 22:04. It's almost 2300 there, and he is racing. I think today is day 2.
Yeah, he said he was tired.
And he's tired. He's got to get to bed because they got another long day sailing the Tazar Worlds with his daughter. That was great. And Alistair, thanks for doing that. And if I looked like his knee was not, Malcolm Page's knee looked like he's had a rough patch because he's also been sailing in the RS-21s, and then he's going to sail in the J-70
Worlds or the J70 Europeans. I'm not sure what's going on there as well. But bravo Zulu to both of them. The other thing that I liked about the appointment, and I didn't realize this, but hearing in that video, is that Malcolm was on the board before he got appointed CEO. And I can tell you from experience, I having been on the U.S. Sailing Board as a young person before they hired me, and that's, I'm sure, the reason why they did hire me, because they would have never otherwise, except I used to say a few smart things at the board meetings, I suppose. Why would you otherwise hire a wet behind the ear kid? But Malcolm is a pro. He's won 2 Olympic gold medals and been around, including as our Olympic director here in the U.S., sadly, for too short a time. So the fact that he's been on the board and is now going to be CEO, I think you could expect great things continuing.
Yes, I can hardly wait to see the two of them together. Actually, would do a lot.
Any comments here? Yeah, Joe Holtzman is from Toledo, Ohio. Is Toledo in Michigan or Ohio, Joe? That's still a disputed border. Michigan got the Upper Peninsula. If they'd agreed to give up the Toledo, that little strip of land between Michigan and Ohio, that is where Toledo and Sylvania, I'm not sure what the other towns are. Yeah. And Michigan was bought off by saying, we'll give you the Upper Peninsula, which has got all the iron ore and got a lot of natural resources and timber and so on. It was a great deal. Right, Joe Holtzman? Another excellent AAAA, Ted Ryman is saying, enjoy your time in Europe. Great things happening in Oz. Thanks, Al. Yeah, John Collings agreed. Warren Schasser looks like he had his cap on. Maybe it was his cap, not a knee brace or a knee. Looked like he had some ice or something on it. Okay, a cap. Putting your cap on your knee is what you do in an interview, Steve Gruber says. Also, sunglasses off. Yes.
Okay, got
nice
it.
Stuff. Proper Aussies, proper people. Also gives one confidence in the future of our sport.
Yes.
When you get we're all pulling for Charlie Enright to solve the financial problem at U.S. Sailing. And hopefully Aussie Malcolm Page goes in there and keeps Australia burning hotly, as they have been for years. Speaking of hot, the American Cup boat race, Julia, is hotting up. I can tell you the 2027 Cup, I suggest to you, is in jeopardy. Whether anything happens in Naples or a deed of gift match or something else, or maybe as planned happens, but I wouldn't hold your breath. Because as I've been telling you, hinting here for weeks, if not months, there's not general agreement, and there is some really serious angst about the job that is being done by the trustee, whom I, as you know, call the world's worst trustee, the worst trustee in the history of the America's Cup, and their appointed team, and that appointed team CEO, Mr. Dalton. And I ran this picture to tease a few of you, that beautiful picture. You know what that is, Julia? It was on my Facebook page the other day.
This is Teen Chapel.
It does. It is. I'll tell you what, the quality is, I have seen both. It is the ceiling mural in the central rotunda done by WPA. Remember what WPA was?
Yeah, work project.
Yeah, during the Depression. By WPA artists at 60 Center Street.
Oh, really?
In New York City. That is the Supreme Court courthouse which is the trial court in New York City, but that's the rotunda when you walk in and you look up and you realize you're in a fabulous building. This is what it looks like from the outside, 60 Center Street. Mm-hmm. And why is 60 Center Street important? Well, again, because the deed of gift it was given under New York law, and there are provisions in what's called the A&A, or the assignment acceptance. When you win the cup, you sign a deal given to you by the previous trustee, which says that any disputes will be adjudicated in the courts of New York, which means 60 Center Street, at least at the trial court level. And then if it's appealed from there, it goes to what's called the appellate division of this same court system in New York. And then if it's appealed from there, it can go to the state capital of Albany, up north of New York City, to the State Court of Appeals. Mm. Both times the cup ended up in court over disputes, deed of gift type disputes. Both in 1988 and in 2010, it went through all three levels. It went all the way to the Court of Appeals in Albany, State Court of Appeals, and that's why the Cup, was in abeyance for 2 years, both times that there was a contested deed of gift situation. And that is what the case is, or so one continues to hear. And I'm sorry to say, I don't want to see it in court. I really wish. I still hold out some hope, Julia.
Too much money spent on the wrong thing.
I hope that there will still be some kind of an agreement that Mr. Dalton comes off his high horse and agrees with these teams to share the financial figures.
Right.
Because, again, in a nutshell, what he has done is said, this whole thing is mine. The Cup, the match, the Challenger Selection Series, the television rights, the venue fee, any other, it's all mine, and then I'll decide what money, if any, I'll give to you as challengers. And the challengers are saying, sorry, that's not the way this works. We own the Challenger Selection Series.
Mm-hmm.
We own the rights to that. If you do a venue deal and there's a lot of money involved, you got to share that with us because we're the ones that are the real show.
That's correct.
And they really are when you get down to it. So the so-called Big Three, the challenger of record, who is Sir Ben Ainslie, and the Royal Yacht Squadron and his Athena Racing Team, and Ernesto Bertarelli, DBA, the Société Nautique Genève, and American Magic, the representative team of New York Yacht Club. Those three, the so-called Big Three, are not amused with the continuing, in my opinion, bad behavior of the Defender trustee and their representative team. And I think this is headed for 60 Center Street sooner than later. Maybe not today, maybe not Monday, but in fact, I suspect next week. I suspect, Julia.
Jody Shield says, my money is on a DOG max between New Zealand and the Swiss.
A deed of gift match. No, I don't think it'll happen, Jody, and here's why. I think if there's a deed of gift match, it's going to be between the challenger of record, whose challenge is already in, that is the Royal Yacht Squadron, and Sir Ben Ainslie. And where and when that happens is anyone's guess. And I don't want to belabor this because we seem to talk about it and then we start getting a lot of comments. But Ed Worley is saying TNZ, Grant Dalton had better stop signing AC contracts in the name of other teams without the coordination and consent. Pedro Foiling Sailor, lawyers have to eat Tom with AI taking and eating away at their bottom line. What's that mean? Why wouldn't the default be Royal Yacht Squadron? Yes, David James, you're correct. I believe that's what it is. Doggy style, Gordon Smith is making a smutty comment. A deed of gift style match, a doggy style match. Hog style, dog style, any style, right, Julia? You can shake your finger at me.
Enough.
Huh?
Enough.
So we'll see. And there are too many combinations and permutations to discuss, but suffice to say, this has become messier than even I imagined it would or could. And I think it's because the trustee, the Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron, I'm sure there's some super people. They all have hearts of gold, a beautiful city, beautiful clubhouse, great racing club. But they are the worst trustee in the America's Cup history, having let their team run away with the cup and with the piggy bank. And it's not correct, I'm sorry to say. It is simply not correct. And I don't blame the challengers. I don't want to see it in court, but I don't blame any of the challengers, including the so-called Big Three. While the French, if they're in, we don't know, but also the Italians who profess to be in, and they're training away down there in Cagliari. I'm sure they're very disappointed as well. But at the end of the day, I don't blame these challengers one bit. They've tried to get a fair deal. The deal that's on offer and has been negotiated and renegotiated is not fair.
Mm-hmm.
It's not correct, and I don't blame them for going to court to try to enforce something else. And Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron, I still hold some small hope that you will come to your senses and rein in your representative team, and that you will retake running the cup. You always say follow the money, and the money is with the Swiss. Jody Shields makes a very good point, and that's correct. Follow the money, but the money is not only with the Swiss. Who else, Julia, has a pile? The New York Yacht Club American Magic's print team principal, Doug DeVos of the Amway DeVos family, is also equally unamused with all of this. So you've got two billionaires on the side of this. Plus, Ben's got some money now, at least for a team. I don't know if his money, new backers are backing a court case or not. We'll see. But I know the Royal Yacht Squadron backs Ben.
And the Italians?
The Italians are just standing by. They want this to happen in Naples. They want it to happen in 2027 and be done with it because, you know, they got if it's just if everyone else goes away and it's the Italians and the Kiwis racing in Naples, who would you choose to win? They'd be the hometown favorite.
Yeah.
We'll see. Okay, enough. Anything else? Trace where the money from Ben is coming from, Jody Shields is saying. Yeah, well, that's a good point, too. One never knows.
Do we know?
Steve Gruber's saying, I might argue that New York Yacht Club might be the worst trustee. The 132-year winning streak was fully rigged until 83. Not sure that's true. There were several others, Steve, I'm quite sure it's not true, who almost won, and had they not been too crotonic or so crotonic, they would have won, including 1920, 1934, as well as 1983, when the challenger, the Royal Perth Yacht Club, did win, as you all know. Mm-hmm. Okay, that gets us to the last leg. I like to bookend the show when possible, as you all know. And at the last leg, I'm back to the Admirals Cup, which we're celebrating today throughout the show. And that starts tomorrow with that channel race. And I think we should look at a video of another top team, not only Monaco and maybe Hong Kong and probably the Brits and maybe one of the German teams. Several of you have tipped to be top teams. But what about the Aussies? They also look good. Here is a preview of the Aussie Admirals Cup team.
The Admirals Cup was pretty much a boyhood fantasy of mine.
Stuck a hand up and said, yeah, we're available to do the Admirals Cup.
My name is Sean Langman and I'm the owner, skipper of Back to Black.
My name's Gordon Ketelby. I'm the owner of the TP52 Zen.
We found Back to Black a bit like we found Moneypenny actually, pretty much on the side of the road. She was in a shed in Hamble and in pieces. And there was something about her initially that I thought, well, this has been a great campaign in the past and packed up well. But like all these things, you look at opportunities to go faster.
My name's Shane Ganaria and I've been part of the Zen 52 program since it landed. Yeah, so part of my role with Gordon's Boats has been to put the crew together and manage the program and make sure we've got the right people in the right places. The Admirals Cup has given us a fantastic platform to put a team together like we really haven't had on the boat before.
Hey, I'm Josh Alexander. I am probably the boat captain for the Back to Black campaign and mainly sort of crew boss pit area. Look, I've been working and sailing with Sean for the last 17-something years and we've had many adventures together, so we're pretty closely bonded.
So my name's Tom Barker and I will be an offside trimmer during the Admirals Cup on Zen. I've been racing with Gordon and Shane and the team probably since about 2015. So started on the Far 40 with a bit of international racing, World Championships, and then onto the TP52. The history of the Admirals Cup is just so immense. It's something that as a young sailor, as a young kid, you used to grow up and idolise, and the long history into the 60s and the 70s of Australian teams and Australian yachts and crews competing is something I always looked up to. So to be part of that and part of a crew representing our club, representing our country is just phenomenal.
My name is Margot Vanderpoel and my position on Zen is in the offside pit position. I've been sailing with Zen for 3 years now. It's great to see that they are pushing for more women to come on these boats. What I see is a lot of enthusiasm for that from more women entering the sport, but also a lot of boat owners and campaigns attracting great talent to come on board. I'm very proud to be part of a team that sees me as a team member, regardless if I'm a woman or a man.
Hi, I'm Lindsay Stead, sailing with Team Zen for the Admirals Cup. I've been employed to be the bowman. What it means, I think, for Australia being involved, essentially defending the Admirals Cup. I believe we were the last ones to win it. So we'll see how we go with Team Zen and Black to Black.
That'd be fun.
Who do you think, Julia? Who's your pick for the Admirals Cup? You haven't studied this yet.
No, I haven't But I love the Cruising Club of Australia.
I know you do. And it's nice that a club has done this.
Yes.
I mean, the more, we keep saying this on this show, the more video that clubs do and national authorities. That's why I like that Nathan Outeridge, that Bo Outeridge, his brother, goes around with the Australian Olympic team.
That's such a good deal.
And it's great stuff, isn't it? Yeah, cheer on Team Zen and Back to Black during the Admirals Cup, which everybody listed the 17th because there was measurement and press conferences and so on. But the actual start of the first race is tomorrow, Saturday, the 19th of July. We're 2 hours, 5 minutes in, and I've just gotten a text from none other than Cole Tapper, Julie, speaking of Aussies.
Oh, good.
And he is, we're going to get him on one way or another next Tuesday. If we have to pre-record it, because when we go live at 1300 this time of year, that's 0600 Sydney time.
Yeah.
On his Wednesday morning. But we'll try to get him live because, as Jon Emmett says, it's always better live so people can ask questions and interact and so on. Two strong Aussie teams, Mary Longpre says. She picks Zen. Well, we'll see how the team does. Yeah, I think there's a lot of Cup comments, but let's don't revisit that. Let's go forward. Smartly forward, Julia, to Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. And your favorite segment. Go the Aussies, Andrew DeVola is saying. Yep. The four musicians. You know, we talk about music on here more often than we talk about drinking these days. The four musicians of the apocalypse. I don't play the bagpipe. I have played the accordion, not well. I can hit the bongos, but I certainly admit to being a banjo player. That came from Vice Commodore Harrington.
She has the best collection.
Now, here's another musical one, Julia. Get your finger ready. You see that?
Yes.
Tulips on My Organ. Come on. Do you know who sent that?
Larry Ferrari.
No, it's not Ryman. It's not Greg Phillips. It's none of the usual suspects. In fact, they asked to remain.
Oh, anonymous.
The person asked to remain anonymous because that was not, it's not very polite. Now, here's one. I think I've used this before or some version of this. Do alcoholics run in your family? No, they say. I had to get an alcohol one in here, even though I don't drink. We didn't pour you any of your bourbon cream today. We can do that after the show. That came from Sean Hogan, and he's had his health challenges, as you know, via Alistair. Alistair forwarded that from Sean. Sean, hope you're doing very well indeed. Thanks for that. No, alcoholics don't run in the family, but they say. Then there is this viral video, Julia, which has been in all the news all over the world from New Zealand.
Yeah,
the surfing seal.
Oh, yes.
Only one out.
I guess that's a seal.
There he is. Yes. Oh, come on, mate. Go.
Yes.
Looks like fun.
Uh-huh.
Did you ever surf as a kid in Carpinteria?
Not successfully. I tried.
Well,
body surf.
I'll have to ask Meg about that. My daughter, the non-sail, well, she sails, but she's not a keen racing sailor. She sails as rail meet on a J105 down there at San Diego Yacht Club. Like you, she sails with the Commodore.
Yes.
What's that joke, that poster you have? Why?
Why? Don't fool around with weekend sailors when you could have the Commodore.
You can have the Commodore. Especially if he's Spanish, right?
Ooh.
Huh? Yeah, we like to conclude with Blake Middleton's favorite one. All the smartest people sail. I'm not sure you'd think that if you watch this show.
I know.
In replay.
I know.
And Alan Long is saying, hilarious. Tulips was the J24 I started racing with, owned by a woman, and from the same joke. Really? Okay. Fog Machine says, so the bongo's not so bad. Replace it with a harmonica. Yeah, indeed. Okay, that gets us to the finish line, Julia. Thank goodness we're done.
Yes.
And you like to say?
Yes. Do not miss the opportunity to like, follow, and share, and do all three.
Yeah, indeed. And we all remind everyone that comments are welcome, even in replay. We leave them open because we don't get any personal attacks. We get no trolling, no name calling, no coarse language, because everyone knows if we do, you will delete them. Huh?
Right.
One strike and you're out. You'll delete them and block them from Sailing Illustrated.
Correct.
From all three of our pages, both our Facebook pages and our YouTube channel. Thanks again to everybody who supports us. Patreon.com/join/Sailing Illustrated. I always say at the top and the bottom of the show, because without you, we would not have a facility. We would not have a studio. I wouldn't be able to pay the streaming fees because I'm poor. I'm just a simple country boy from Michigan on a fixed Social Security income, a fixed pension, Julia.
I'm trying to fix that for you. You won't do it.
You mean with all your stock advice?
Yeah.
I know. Okay, thanks, everybody. Also, thank you to those who gave us audio, video, and images for today's show. Julia, there were a lot of them, as usual. Fills up a whole page in fairly small typeface, but we're grateful to each and every one. Julia, any final thoughts?
No, it'll be interesting to see what happens this weekend.
It will be a lot on in the sport. Great weekend. No watch party. We're all going to be scattered around at different times, and some watching it live. That is SailGP. Some watching it in replay, trying to follow what's going on with the Admirals Cup and beyond. A busy time of the year here in the Northern Hemisphere. Thank you all for joining us. We hope to see you next Tuesday. We'll do another Road to the Governor's Cup, hopefully with Cole Tapper and maybe a couple, three other of those skippers. In the meantime, have a great weekend wherever in the world you are. And if you can, go sailing, because we're going to be at this next Tuesday and Friday and beyond. I'm not going to repeat all these slides. We've done that. And in the meantime, here it comes. Sail fast, sail safe, and have fun. Ciao for now.